Okay, I was really quite excited to be able to talk about the Changing the Conversation program because I found it really made a big difference in terms of the quality of care my clients felt that they were receiving, as well as the relationship and the bond between myself and my clients. The biggest things that I found that the Changing the Conversation addressed was a client's safety, which is always our first priority, their self-esteem, as well as their dignity. And one that speaks to a few of these is a client who had a couple dogs, and they were like her kids. And so when I came to see her, she kept delaying, and she'd say, "Oh, but I have to, don't come this week, my house isn't cleaned." And I was finally having to say, "No, I really need to see you." And when I got there, I could understand why she was a bit reluctant to have me come, because the dogs had soiled. She put out newspapers because she couldn't afford the puppy training pads, which at least are absorbent and help take some of that smell away. So she was using newspapers, and so you can imagine what it was like having these dogs soiling in the kitchen. And she, you know, would basically change it when she had enough energy to. So she was quite excited when I said we could have somebody help her with that. So, you know, they could roll up the newspaper and change that, but the big thing for both her and the dogs was that she could let the dogs in, or the worker let the dogs in the backyard. And so the dogs got relief, they got to run around, they were happier, and they weren't as attention-seeking because, again, she wasn't feeling well, but the dogs were bored, so they kept, you know, wanting attention from her, which she felt guilty about not being able to give. So we improved her safety, because otherwise she would be trying to clean that, and if she did have a good day, she would try to make it down the stairs to let the dogs out to the back. It certainly improved her self-esteem because she didn't feel so guilty about neglecting the dogs. And her dignity, she wasn't so embarrassed because her house, you know, it was cleaner, and she wasn't so self-conscious. So that is one that speaks, you know, spoke to me on a lot of levels. And it also changed our relationship because often we're seen as, you know, the ones who ask about when was your last bowel movement, and, you know, are you taking your medications, how are you feeling? And so this way she felt like I was really relating on a personal level with her. And so our bond, you know, we still had that professional relationship, but there certainly was a different personal connection, and especially as a dog lover and owner myself, I could relate to how she felt, and, you know, we would, even just some of our conversation revolved around the dogs.